In this lecture, I will teach you Unit 2.2, the 3 questions. It's a very amazing story, and as we read and understand this story, we come to know that how interesting it becomes. The whole story is revolving around the king and the 3 questions, as we know that as per the name of unit. Now let's start the unit. Leo Tolstoy, 1828 to 1910, was a Russian writer who is regarded as one of the greatest authors of all time. He first achieved literary acclaim in his 20s with his semi-autobiographical trilogy, Childhood, Boyhood and Youth. A parable is a short story with a moral lesson. A parable usually has human characters. This parable concerns a king who wants to find the answers to what he considers to be the 3 most important questions in his life. Now, let's see the explanation. Once a certain king had an idea. If he always knew the right time to begin everything, if he knew who were the right people to listen to and who to avoid the most important thing to do, he would never fail in anything that he would undertake, and above all, if he always knew what was the most undertake. So, once the king thought about 3 things and thought, if he knew all these 3 things, then I will be famous and become right in everything. So which 3 things were there? The first one, he wanted to know what is the right time to begin anything. The second one, who are the right persons to listen and what is the most important thing for the king to do. So, if he knew all these things, he could become a great ruler. Since he was convinced that he was right in thinking this way, he had a proclamation made on his kingdom. He would give a great reward to anyone who would teach him what the right time was for every action, who the most necessary people were, and how he might know the most important thing to do. So as he was thinking that, he convinced himself that it's right. And proclamation means a public or official announcement dealing with a matter of great importance. So he made public announcement in the kingdom, and he also announced that he would give a great reward, a great prize to who could answer him his all 3 questions. Which questions? Teach him what the right time and who the most necessary people, and how he might know the most important things to do. Many learned people came to the court, but they all gave different answers. In reply to the first question, some said that to know the right time for every action, one must draw up in advance a table of days, months, and years, and must live strictly according to it. So, learned means intelligent. Many intelligent people came to the court and gave different answers for the first question. Some replied that one should draw a table in advance for days, months, years, and follow that strictly for every action. Others declared that it was impossible to decide beforehand the right time for every action, but that not letting oneself be absorbed in idle pastimes. One should always attend to all that was going on and then do all that was most essential. While some others said it was impossible to decide beforehand. Beforehand means in advance. So we can't decide any right time in advance. So they said one should not remain idle and should attend all those going on and then decide what is right and do this and what is essential. Yet others said that it was impossible for one man to decide correctly the right time for every action, and that the king should instead have a council of wise people who would help him to fix the proper time for everything. Then some others said that it is impossible for anyone to decide the right time or the right thing. So the king should appoint wise people as counseling members, those who can help the king to decide the right time and right things to do. Equally varied were the answers to the second questions. Some said the people the king most needed were his counselors, others the priests, others the doctors, while some others said the warriors were the most necessary. While there was variety of answers about the council of people whom the king should appoint. Some said the king should keep people in council like counselors, some said like priests, some said doctors, while some others said there should be warriors in the council. So they gave variety of answers to the king. To the third question about what was the most important occupation, some replied that the most important thing in the world was science. The third question was about the occupation, means which is the most important occupation for any person. So in the reply of this question, some said that the most important thing in the world is science. Others said it was skill in warfare, and others again said that it was the religious worship. So some others said that warfare means war activities are the most important thing, while some others said that religious worship is the most important thing for any person. The king was convinced by none of these answers and gave reward to none. Now the king was not satisfied with any answer, so he didn't give reward to anyone. He decided instead to go to a hermit who was widely known for his wisdom. The hermit lived in a small hut in a forest which he never left. Then the king decided that he would go to meet hermit, a religious person. Hermit means a religious person, and he was well known for his wisdom. The hermit was lived in a small hut in forest, and he always used to live in the hut and he never left it. He spoke only to common folk, so the king put on simple clothes and approaching the hermit's cell, dismounted his horse and left his bodyguard behind. The hermit only talked with the common people, so the king decided to go there as a common man wearing simple clothes, and he also left his horse and bodyguard behind him, so the hermit couldn't know about him. When the king arrived, the hermit was digging the ground in front of his hut. When the king reached there, the hermit was digging the ground. He greeted the king but went on digging. Then he continued digging and wished the king. The hermit was frail and weak, and each time he struck the ground with the spade and turned over a little earth, he breathed heavily. The hermit was frail. Frail means weak or delicate. So when he was digging, each time he breathed heavily. The king went up to him and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer 3 questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I most need? And to whom should I therefore pay most attention? And what affairs are the most important and need my first attention? Then the king told the hermit that he came there to meet him to get the answers of some questions. So there were 3 questions whose answer the king wanted. He wanted to know the right time, the right person, and the right thing or right business to do at a time. And that is what is the most important thing to which the king should give attention. The hermit listened to the king but said nothing. The hermit listened to the king but he didn't say anything. He just pat on his hand and resumed digging. He just kept going with his work of digging. The king watched this silence for a while, then feeling sorry for the hermit, and he said, You are tired. Let me take this spade and work a while for you. Then For some time, the king watched the hermit silently, and then he felt sorry about it and said, "Let him do that digging work." The hermit silently handed over the spade and sat down on the ground. When he had dug two beds, the king stopped and repeated his questions. The hermit gave the spade to the king silently and sat on the ground. After digging two beds, he again asked these questions to hermit. The hermit again gave no answer, but rose, stretched out his hand for the spade, and said, "Now rest a while and let me work a bit." But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. But the hermit again didn't give the answers and told the king to do his work and told the king to do some rest. But the king continued digging and didn't give him spade. 1 hour passed and another. The sun began to sink behind the trees, and the king at last stuck the spade into the ground and said, 1 hour and another passed. The time passed and it was about the evening. The king at last stuck the spade into the ground and said to the hermit, "I came to you, wise one, for an answer to my questions. If you can give me none, please say no, and I will go home." "Here comes someone running," said the hermit. "Let us see who it is." He told hermit that he came there to meet the hermit and also said if he couldn't answer anything to him, then he should say no. And hermit said the king that they should watch, something is running, come to them, and let's see who it is. The king turned round and saw a bearded man come running out of the forest. Then the king saw a bearded man was running from the forest. The man held his hand pressed against his stomach, and blood was flowing from under them. When he reached the king, he fainted and fell to the ground, moaning feebly. So from this sentence we can see that the man was injured and he had pressed his stomach and the blood was coming from his stomach. When that injured man came to the king, he fainted and fell down and moaned feebly. Moaning feebly means he made some sound of suffering from wounds or injuries. The king and the hermit unfastened the man's clothing. There was a large wound in his stomach. Then the king and the hermit unfastened, it means loose his clothes, and they saw that there was a large wound on his stomach. The king washed it as well as he could and bandaged it with his handkerchief and the towel which the hermit had. Then the king tried his best to clean the wound and then bandage it with handkerchief and the towel of the hermit. But the blood would not stop flowing, and the king again and again removed the bandage, soaked with warm blood, and washed and rebandaged the wound. But the blood flow was not stopped, but the king kept trying to clean wound by soaking the blood and rebandage the wound again and again. When at last the blood stopped flowing, the man revived and asked for something to drink. The king brought some fresh water and gave it to him. Finally, when the blood stopped, then the injured man awake and asked for water. Then the king gave him fresh water to drink. Meanwhile, the sun had set and it had become cool. So the king, with the hermit's help, carried the wounded man into the hut. After all this, it was the time of evening and there was cool atmosphere. So the king, with the help of hermit, took that injured man into the hut. The man lay there quietly with his eyes closed. By now the king was so tired after his walk and the work he had done that he laid down himself and also fell asleep. So the king, with the help of hermit, took that injured man into the hut and that man lying there quietly. Now the king was also tired after digging the ground and helping the injured man. He fell asleep also. When he awoke in the morning, it took his some time to remember where he was and who was the strange bearded man lying by his side and gazing intently at him. Next morning, when the king awoke, it took some time to remember about last day and he saw the bearded man looking at him intently. It means eagerly. And he said, "Forgive me," said the bearded man in a weak voice. When he saw that the king was awake and was looking at him, "I do not know who you and I have nothing to forgive you for," said the king. Then the bearded man in his weak voice apologized the king as the king awake and looking at him. Then the king said that he didn't know him and he hadn't anything to forgive him for anything. "You do not know me, but I know you. I am the enemy of yours who swore to revenge himself on you because you executed his brother and seized his property." Now that man told the king that he know him. He was the enemy of king and who swore. Swore means who vowed to take revenge from king because the king had executed his brother and seized the property. "He knew you had gone alone to see the hermit, and I resolved to kill you on your way back. But the day passed and you did not return, so I came out of my ambush to find you." That man also said that he knew that the king was going alone at hermit's place, so he decided to kill the king when he came back from the hermit. But the king didn't return after a day passed, so that man said that I came out from my ambush, means the place of hiding before attack. "Your bodyguard recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from them but would have bled to death had you not dressed my wound. I wished to kill you, but you have saved my life." Then the bodyguard of the king recognized that enemy and injured him. Then that man escaped, means ran away from that place and said he would die if the king did not clean his wound. And then that man said, "I wish to kill you," means he wished to kill the king, but the king saved his life. "Now if I live and if you wish it, I'll serve you all my life." Now that man said that if he live and if the king wish, he would serve the king for all of his life. The king was very glad to have made peace with an enemy so easily and to have gained him for a friend. Now the king was very happy to end the rivalry and made peace with enemy, and easily he find a good friend in an enemy. He not only forgave him but said he would send his man and his own physician to attend to him. The king not only forgave him but also told his men to send him to his own physician to that man. The king then took leave of him and went out of the hut to look for the hermit. Then the king left the hut and was looking for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to beg for an answer to the questions he had asked. He wanted to ask the questions one more time before he left. The hermit was outside on his knees, sowing seeds in the beds that had been dug that day before. Then the king saw that the hermit was there outside and he was sowing the seeds in the beds that the king had dug that day. The king approached him and said, "For the last time, I pray you to answer my questions, wise man." The king went to him and calmly requested the hermit to answer his questions. "You have already been answered," said the hermit, still crouching on his thin legs and looking up at the king who stood before him. Then the hermit Still crouching means bending on his thin legs and looking at the king and said, "You have already been answered," means king got all the answers of his questions. "What do you mean?" asked the king. The king was surprised. He asked the hermit, "What do you mean?" "Do you not see?" replied the hermit. "If you'd not pitied my weakness yesterday and stayed to dig these beds for me, you would have gone back and been killed by that man." Then the hermit replied that, "You do not see?" It means if the king would not pity on the hermit and didn't dig beds for him, he would have been killed by his enemy on his way back. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds and I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business. So for the king, the important time was digging the beds for the hermit, and the hermit was the most important man for the king, and doing good to hermit was the most important business for the king. Afterwards, the most important time was when you were attending to that man. For if you'd not bound his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. Then the hermit said, after all this, when the king was helping that injured man was the most important time. If the king would not help him, he would die without making peace with the king. So, he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business. And so that injured man was the most important person for the king at that time, and what the king had done for him was the most important business for the king. Remember then, there is only one time that is important. Now, then the hermit said, remember, only one time that is important. Which time? It is now. It is the most important time because it's the only time when we have any power. It is the most important time because at the time we have the power, and at that time with the person, it is the most important person. The most necessary person is that the one with whom you are. For you do not know whether you will ever have dealing with anyone else, and the most important thing is to do this person good, because for that purpose alone were you sent into this life. Then the hermit very important line said, the most important person for you is whether you know him or do not know him. And finally, do good for that person is the most important business for you, because for that purpose you are sent to that someone's life. So from this unit, we have learned that the present time is very important to us, and whenever we meet anyone, we should do good for them, because there is a reason behind everything we do and anyone we met. Now, here we are finishing our unit.